gotta go back to work. Got our ass whooped today. I mean, hats off to them. They whooped our ass. So gotta go back to work. Sat in the same position 4 weeks ago.
He's not wrong, Chris.
He didn't tell not one lie.
Not one. No lies detected from Derrick
Not
Brown.
one.
Let's get this sucker started.
Get dialed in, Panthers fans. Here comes an in-depth look at your team. Exclusive interviews. Locker room insight. Let's huddle up for Panthers Playbook. Presented by Wake Orthopedics, a Wake Med physician practice. Here are your hosts, Dennis Cox and Chris Lea.
Welcome back to another episode of Panthers Playbook. That's Chris Lea. Dennis Cox here with you. Wake Orthopedics, our sponsor here at Panthers Playbook. And folks, just go ahead and just invent in the comments section. Let's be honest, Chris, that was an embarrassing loss.
We back, baby. We are back, baby. We got blown out by 31 at home. We are so back, baby.
And gave up over 200 yards on the ground to one guy. All the progress. It just
Throwback Sunday.
It's like Charlotte Bobcats night all over again. But here's the thing. Again, leave your thoughts in the comment section on this loss. Like, does this loss derail? There's a lot of things that went wrong in this game. Andy Dalton was brutally bad. The rush defense was brutally bad. And the decision, we'll get into a little bit later on, of the alternating running backs between Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, it's brutally bad. It was brutally bad all fronts today. Coaching, players, everything.
Let me answer your question. Does this derail the Panthers?
Yeah.
No. I just think that this game proved that they are not in that. If we break the NFL down into three tiers, right? The really, really good teams, the middle of the road teams who are probably fighting for the playoffs, and the teams that are not going to be in the playoffs. Panthers proved in this game and through the last few weeks that they are the top of that third tier. They are almost getting into that second tier.
Yeah, I would say they're more closer to that bottom of that second tier. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But they're nowhere close to being anywhere near good enough to beat a team like that. It's back to, if you're going to turn the ball over, you're not going to win the game. Yeah. Now, you could do that against Miami. You could do that against Dallas. Mm-hmm. You could even do that against the Jets, even though they didn't turn the ball over last week.
I mean, you almost did it against the Arizona Cardinals.
You know, and almost did it against the Arizona Cardinals. But this is the Buffalo Bills out here with Josh Allen at quarterback. And Josh Allen didn't even have to be Josh Allen today for that. I mean, James Cook.
He was just there.
Cooked.
Yeah, he did.
He absolutely flambéed, he sautéed,
he the whole bill.
Did everything against the Carolina Panthers, and it was horrible. And so somebody said, I think David Newton had this, so I don't know, if this is all the way true. We have to check on it. 168 yards before contact for
apparently.
James Cook, and finished with over 200 yards rushing. It's just not good enough. And the Carolina Panthers went back. They regressed. We talked about regression a couple weeks ago, and they really regressed here. They're going to have another good team next week, Dennis, against the Green Bay Packers. But once they go against teams that are on their level, like the Saints, I expect them to play a lot better.
So, yeah, again, it kind of goes to show you where they are right now in the league. And you talk about, let's go to James Cook here real fast. Over 200 yards rushing for James Cook. Over the last three games between the Dolphins, 216.
11.4 average. 11.4 yards per carry.
Speaking of that, against the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Jets, the Panthers gave up a total of 131 yards on the ground and didn't allow a run of 10 or more yards. James Cook today had 7 carries of 10 or more yards today, including a 21-yard touchdown run and a 64-yard touchdown run, which were just the 64-yard touchdown run felt like it was just bound to happen. He had more yards, had 146 yards when he scored the 64-yard touchdown in the second quarter. There was still 7:33 left on the clock in the second quarter, and he was already at 146. That's just brutally bad run defense, and unfortunately, I think this is the trend that we're seeing with the Panthers, where it was extreme one end or extreme the other, not consistently in the middle ground. I think that's something you and I have been harping on over the last few weeks is what's sustainable, what's consistent with this team, and we didn't see anything of consistency other than Dave Canales alternating running backs.
That's how you know that a team just isn't ready. They're not ready right now, and they're still growing. When you can't consistently get the same thing from week to week, it's just depending on who you play. If you're going to play the Bills, it's not going to look so good. If you're going to play the Dolphins or the Saints, it's going to look awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that means that you're not there. You have not arrived. There's still a lot of work to be done. And, you know, I think I'm still back to wondering about schemes. I'm wondering about coaching, putting guys in the right places, things like that. I will say this is something that Carolina Panthers can't help.
Yeah.
Our boy Pat Jones was absolutely missed today.
Yeah.
Like you could see where he would have been effective, not only just rushing a quarterback, but also setting some edges. I mean, they were eating those edges alive in this game. And then also, I mean, we'll talk about it. This is the first time that Andy Dalton started for Bryce Young, where I was like, Bryce is missed.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't feel that way to the second half, honestly. Like, until the second half, it looked like kind of all the same. In the second half, it was when Dalton started getting sacked a lot. It's like, man, Bryce would have escaped some of that.
Oh, yeah, he definitely would have. I mean, the Panthers had a chance at the end of the first half to get a touchdown or at least get a field goal, and Dalton takes a bad sack. Like, that's on Dalton. Dalton, he knows. He's been in the league for, 15 years? He knows he can't take a sack there at the end of the first half. That took points off the board. He had to rush out there to try and kick a field goal, which you missed, which I think the clock hit 0 anyway, but you still missed on that opportunity. And I think the biggest thing that you and I are seeing over the last couple weeks, I'll say this, Dave Canales single-handedly cooled off a white-hot Rico Dowdle. Single-handedly did it. And I think, in my eyes, it's been some stubbornness on his part. It really has been, to go with every other series for Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. It's clearly not working. The fact that Rico Dowdle, Chris, had one offensive play in the second half until less than 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. One offensive snap for Rico Dowdle, for a guy that averaged 6.8 yards a carry.
And one carry in the second half.
Yeah, that was just, it was meaningless. There was less than 5 minutes to play. I mean, Chris, that's not a recipe for winning. It simply isn't.
It is irresponsible on Dave Canales' part.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
Absolutely irresponsible.
Yeah.
You had a guy who really only started 2 games.
Yep.
And because of the bulk of the production that he got, again, against bad teams, the bulk of the production that he had in those games got him up as high as second in the league in rushing. And then you literally take it out of his hands. Mm-hmm. And we're not saying not to run Chuba Hubbard, but we're also saying if you're going to put out the Panthers, like, okay, first possession of the second half, it's Chuba's turn.
Yeah.
Fumble, they recover the fumble, they have to punt. Next time Rico Dowdle comes out. Rico didn't even have a chance to touch the ball right there.
Yeah.
Immediate fumble from Andy Dalton.
One play drive.
And then all of a sudden, the next one, you're putting out Chuba Hubbard again when this guy didn't even get a chance to touch the ball. At some point, you have to learn how to deviate from the plans. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you want to go everything by the book. You want to have certain plans. But if you know that you have a guy that hadn't been in a rhythm, haven't had a chance to touch the ball since the first half, and it's not his fault, it's a fumble, put him back out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, we also talked about we wanted to see 2-back sets. I think I only saw that once.
Which they tried to do.
That was the Wildcat.
Yeah, it was
thing.
the Wildcat, which I was like, why are you getting cute? Because Rico Dowdle just popped off a big 24-yard run, got yourself inside the red zone, actually where we're standing right over here, and then they tried to go that Wildcat thing, and then it went for nothing, and then on the very next play is when Dalton got strip sacked.
And it almost felt like, see,
no,
guys,
strip sack. He actually had a yard, but nonetheless, fumble.
It's like, see, guys, I tried a 2-back set, and, like, that's not good enough at all because you put Andy Dalton out wide, so Andy Dalton's not doing anything out there. The defense knows what's happening. Are you going to have Rico Dowdle air the ball out? Not really.
No.
Go straight to the 2 running backs and get them down on the ground. And so there was nothing that happened in that game that put the Bills back on their heels. Again, the team that coming into this game was 31st in the league in rushing yards allowed per game. And the Carolina Panthers could not take advantage of that.
Yeah. Dead last in yards per carry allowed in the NFL. And Rico was 6.8. 6.8 yards a carry.
Rico had a
only
good
got
game.
8 carries.
And like, when you look at something like that, and just, I'll use the word again, Dennis, it was just absolutely irresponsible on his part. I'm not sure, like, I'm trying to get into the head of a coach, maybe we can ask other coaches to try to figure it out what it is. You have plans, you want to go by the plan, but sometimes you have to abandon ship. If I was saying like, hey, the way to get to Charlotte is through I-85 South, but I-85 has a crazy accident and everything's blocked up, well, we might have to deviate, go 40 west to go through Greensboro and Winston-Salem just to hit 77 to come back down. Might take us a little bit longer, but we're going to get to the same location, right? Yeah. And he didn't do any of that. He's like, no, we're going to sit on 85. We'll just see if this will open up anytime soon. And it never opened up. No. And I don't understand the thought process behind it because, like, any other time when we've seen last year when the plan was to run the ball and you get behind just by a little bit, all of a sudden get rid of that plan and you start throwing it. So, like, we know that you can deviate from a plan. But when it comes down to something that can actually help you, I don't care that you're paying Chuba more. I don't care that he's your guy. This is the guy that's producing. And even in this game, when he had the opportunity, he produced. Yep. And you didn't give him an opportunity. How many carries?
He had 8 carries.
Almost said a word I couldn't say on here.
It's all right. I'll bleep it out. It's all good, man. It's all good. Derrick Brown said it earlier. I already edited it once. But that's the thing. That's why I said I think there's a level of stubbornness to it, to the fact that he's going to try and make it work. I'm going to fit this square peg into this round hole. I know he said he studied what the Detroit Lions do with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I totally get that you want to have that style of system.
I
totally get that.
I'm sorry, I had to look.
What's that?
Let's do some Zodiac stuff here. Dave Canales' birthday is May 7th, 1981. He is a stubborn Taurus. Tauruses, I have 2 grandfathers. Rest in peace, both of them. They're both Tauruses. Taurus men are very stubborn.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word on that one.
Yeah.
But in regards to this, yeah, I think there's a level of stubbornness of the fact that he's going to try and make it work. Again, Detroit has probably the number one in terms of the 2-back system, right, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, first of all, with all due respect, Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard aren't Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They're not in terms of their physical talent. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't still use them in that same style way. Detroit doesn't use them like that. They don't. They just simply do not. And then a final thing on this one again, defense was bad. The decision-making was bad. And Andy Dalton was bad. Like, brutally bad. Like, all 3, again, were brutally bad in this game. Dalton didn't take care of the ball. And I also don't think that Chris, the play calling did anybody any favors in this one as well. It's when you have a quarterback that doesn't have the mobility, that doesn't have the ability to escape and improvise, get the ball out of his hands quickly. And it felt like Andy Dalton was holding on to the ball too long at times, but nothing early in the game was actually opening up for him in terms of just short, quick completions. There's those things that also just weren't there as well. Yeah. The play calling, just none of it flowed today.
That's where I kind of wonder, like, what is Dave Canales doing for his quarterbacks to get them in a rhythm passing the ball? I was saying to you, it feels like early on in games, he has to hit for 8 to 15 yards every time somebody drops back. Yeah. There's nothing that's out besides, the Dave Canales screen. There's really not much that's right there in that short area for the quarterbacks. And I was just watching it, and it just didn't feel like that ever happened here. It doesn't feel like it ever happens for Bryce. Like, it doesn't feel like there's ever anything that's there, drop back, boom, go. And you just kind of wonder, like, what needs to change when it comes to that, to get quarterbacks in a rhythm.
I don't know if it's just the personnel with the wide receivers not able to beat their men off the line of scrimmage if other teams are playing man coverage, whatever it might be. But you and I were sitting up there in the press box watching the game, and it just feels like with Carolina that there aren't just simple, underneath drag routes from a wide receiver. I think Xavier Legette, with his just physical stature and speed and his size and everything, just on a simple drag route underneath where the tight end clears space in the middle of the field. You got Tepper McMullen clearing space downfield, and just on a simple underneath drag route underneath it is Xavier Legette about 4 yards downfield, where you can just dump it off to him and just let him catch and run. Or a tight end.
Or anything from the running backs or tight ends.
Yeah, you don't see that. Or what they call Texas route out of the backfield with a running back. You don't see any of that with this offense. And it's frustrating because, like I said earlier, it's one extreme or the other with this team. There's no level of consistency.
We talked about it from a player standpoint, from a team makeup standpoint earlier, where we said that they're just not in that tier. The coaching staff isn't in that tier either to deal with a team that is in that top tier, top third tier of the NFL. Like, if you have somebody, I mean, the last 2 times the Bills were on the field, it didn't look very good. Like, people were starting to question what was going on with the Bills. They have a bye week. They come to Carolina, and then they have a get-right game. Yeah. And that's the thing.
It was a get-right game.
Whenever good teams go against – there's a nice little spider right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Whenever teams come to play the Carolina Panthers and they're a good team, somebody's going to have a get-right game. Yep. And, they've graduated to – we're not going to let you have a get-right game, Dallas Cowboys, even though they had a pretty good game themselves. We're not going to let you have a good get-right game, Dolphins, even though they had an okay game themselves. Yeah. The Bills, straight-up get-right game for them.
And Josh Allen didn't have to do squat.
Josh Allen had a night off.
Squat.
He had a night off.
He did.
It's frustrating. It's head-scratching. And I'll go back to the main word of the day. Irresponsible.
Leave your thoughts in the comments section, folks. Give a big shout out to our sponsor, Wake Orthopedics. And we'll end here on one more soundbite here from Derrick Brown about not allowing frustration carry from one game, 1 week to the next.
You go back to work. That's all you can do. If you're a man, you'll show up and you'll make it better. If not, then you'll fall and succumb to this.
How do you make sure the frustration doesn't carry, though? Obviously, there's getting back to work, but there's the mental aspect of it, too.
I mean, you got to be a leader and try to keep guys from doing it. I mean, when it happens, when you see it, you got to speak up and you got to kill it.
Well, Chris, thankfully, it's just one game. The Panthers are still 4-4. It's just one game, but they got to go on the road for a tough one next week in Green Bay. We'll see how quickly they can turn it around.
And one thing, just to talk about that, is we've seen some injuries on the offensive line. Brady Christensen done with the Achilles injury for the season. That's going to be tough. We also have to see what happens with the knee injury. For Taylor Moton has a knee.
Taylor Moton had a knee injury, left the game,
and
didn't
Cade
return.
Mays has an ankle. So we have to see kind of what happens with all that. The main thing is, and I said it earlier, Bryce Young was missed in this game, even though I will say the first half was a Bryce Young game. The 2 turnovers, fumble loss.
We've seen that multiple times this season.
It was a Bryce Young game. But I will say this, this coaching staff has said that they want competition at every position. I will go back to this. We need to be really looking at at quarterback. If Bryce is your guy moving forward, bring somebody in who is going to push him. Because if he goes down with an injury like this is not acceptable.
No, not
like, I'm sorry, Andy. It's been a great 3 years. He's done.
And Dave Canales did say that he's absolutely the backup quarterback going forward for Bryce Young. Andy Dalton is. That's what Dave Canales said post-game. But we'll see. We still love you.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be fun.
We still have the Saints coming.
Twice.
And the Falcons. We're going to bounce back. We're going to get at least 6 wins this year. At least. Only 2 more to go.